Hi, everyone. I hope you guys had a fantastic week. Today's lesson is going to be a triple row macrame bracelet. I got a lot of requests for this one, so this is going to be, I love making this bracelet. It's very, I don't know, just something about it that I really like. If you're new to this platform, you can ask questions and leave comments down below. And on the, I don't know if it's your right side or my right side, but you can check out the items to get more in-depth, detailed descriptions of all the products that are on today's show. And if you like anything that I say, or if you just like anything in general, just hit the heart button. Those are always appreciated. We do not have a customer slideshow today, and I just want to let you guys know that this is a pre-recorded show, but I will be down in the comments to answer any questions that you may have. And I promise to go slow because I'm going to try to do the entire bracelet, even if I go over in the time, because I want you to, it's really important actually. From beginning to end, because there's some little tips and tricks along the way. But anyway, let me go over the items that are on today's show, and then we'll get straight to the project. All right, so the products on today's show, let's check it out. The first thing I want to talk about is the leather, because it's so pretty. Mystic Pink and Kanza. Kanza is one of my favorite colors. And you get 20 meters total. And if you're wondering what to do with the bolo cord, I've got a few projects on my website under the JTV Extra Show. So I have some really cool ways to finish the ends and some really cool bolo cord earrings that were inspired from Katie. I saw a show of hers and I was just inspired to make the bolo cord earrings. But 20 meters total. And next, these pendants are really cool. I like, look at the bird. I'm working on this pendant where because it didn't have a hole on top, and I thought, you know what, I've got to find a way to connect this to the cord, and I did this kind of crisscross thing. I'm not 100% sure if I like it. What do you guys think? I mean, I don't know. It looks like the bird needs to be liberated, but that's a work in progress. And then this pendant, I thought this kind of gave me a Moana vibe. I thought it would be a really cool necklace, kind of like the one that Christy in Alaska submitted in last week's show. So I thought, you know what, I can see this braided with pearls and just some cool like little things, boom boom. And then this one was really interesting. I was thinking of two moose knots for this one, and and maybe doing it the same way with either braiding or knotting along the sides with maybe an adjustable something. And I don't know, that hole in the middle, maybe I could glue a bead in there or something just to give it a little bit of extra pop. This one is really cool. This is this butterfly. That's really pretty. I like that. It's so peaceful looking. Let's see, what would I do with this? Braid it, knot it, just moose knot. Just something simple with clear crystal beads. And the other one that I thought was really interesting was the flower. I mean, this thing is heavy, but look at the side. It's got this really interesting side hole. So maybe when a necklace, the cool thing about this, if you made a necklace, it'd be bailless, you wouldn't see where it was connected. So that's really interesting. And then you got all these other little parts and things as well. So really fun set. So let's see what we have next. Oh, the lapis lazuli. Okay, these you get 6 strands in total. For some reason, I'm only showing 5 here, but there is a 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. And they're just as pretty as they look in this picture. And let's see. Ooh, these were really cool. Okay, so I made, because, when I get this stuff, I'm like, I have to pick a project. And I started making this necklace. And usually what I do is I'm like, does it look better like this? Does it look better with the macrame? For some reason, I really like this part. This is done with a white, I think it seemed like a hempish type cotton cord. It was kind of like a hybrid of the two. I don't even know where I got it. It was just in my my box of stringing materials, but I really like the way that looks. And I think I have something else here. Let me take. Oh yeah, I do. Whoa! Check this one out. I really like this one too. This is a macrame piece that I made. So, you know, this would look really like real beachy, like really nice. So these beads are, I don't know, they kind of give me you know, that feeling that where you wish you were on like a tropical island or maybe somewhere, I don't know, like in an exotic country. So anyway, these these gave me the vibe. They gave me the feeling. So DZ. Why do I keep saying DZI? It's Z inspired. Okay. And the last product is my favorite. It's the Knotty-Do-It-All. And what this tool is, guys, it is, if you guys don't know, if you're new, this is a cord knotting and design tool. And if you like go on my website and look under the customer show under JTV, there are so many like things that you can do with this board. You can do tassels, braiding, multi-strand. And today's project, which is going to be, you know, this bracelet. This is going to make really good use of this this board because it's going to hold everything and it's just going to make everything like so much faster and easier than if you were like trying to do it with like, let's say, a clipboard or like a, I don't know, your what else do people use? Clipboards and uh, what's that, cork board. So this is our large board, and the hardware, you get the hardware kit, instructional DVD, ebook. Everything is available online as well. For those of you that prefer the online stuff, there's so many lessons. There's like over 60 lessons, the last that I checked. But definitely have a look at the JTV extra lessons because there's always something new and interesting there. And the board is made with this beautiful, like it's light colored, like Baltic birch. It's got like slip feet. It's got the ruler in inches and centimeters, and this thing is 20 inches wide, so it's not small. This thing's big, but we do have our travel version, which is half the size, and you get all the instructions and, you know, just like everything. And one of the nice things about the bigger board is you could have like two people working at the same time, because a friend of mine and I got together a week or so ago, and we just both were happy using one board. It just worked out. But you could also use the smaller board side by side with the big one to make a mega board. I use both of them interchangeably. I love both of them like so much, and it really helps, and it makes a difference in, you know, any kind of jewelry that you make with stringing material. So that's what this board is. So many wonderful things you can do with this. Anyway, those are all the products on today's show, and if you see anything you like, grab it before it's gone. You know, on the beads, those blue beads, I said they were both lapis lazuli. One of them is lapis lazuli, and the other one is sodalite. Okay, so I just want to like make that clear. And another thing, the board is actually, it's 19.5 inches long. I don't know why I said 20. I just think 20. It's 20. Anyway, we're gonna get to the project. Okay, let's do it. Okay, for this project, you need 4 separate strands of cord. And, you know, I'm just going to keep this on here for a second, just in case you want to take notes or screenshots. But 2 of them, also, I use 0.5 millimeter and the 0.9, and it'll make sense in a minute. So 2 of the lengths have to be 55 inches long, okay? Or 139 centimeters. So you cut 2 of those. And then the next one is 1 80-inch length of 0.9. So 80 inches. And then with the 0.5 millimeter, which is that thinner one, 40 inches. And that one's going to be like folded. And we're going to be putting a leadered needle on that. So let me just go to that. So this is the thin one, folded in half. I put a leadered needle, and then you have to string the beads on first. I mean, that's after you cut your separate lengths of cord, this is the next step. This is really important. So that's what you need to do. And I'll just hold that there for a second. So remember, on the 0.5 millimeter strand, it's 40 inches. You fold it in half. and then you string your beads on. And I mean, I don't know if you'll need a leadered needle. I always need one. And if you don't know what a leadered needle is, it's a fishing line with the thin needle on the end, because it really, where the juncture is, see the bend in the cord where the two cords meet, using fishing line just makes it really, really thin. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next slide. Okay, in this I'm going to show you how to do. So remember those 55-inch strands that you had 2 of? Okay, here it says you fold it 20. So I'm going to go over here, and here are the 2 55-inch strands. So let me put this here. I want to show you exactly how this is done. So you're going to measure, the board is about like, let me just be on the safe side. I have a ruler here. So I'm going to go 20 inches. So this is the 55-inch strand. I'm going to go 20 inches in, and then I'm going to attach that to my ring using a moose knot. Okay, so, and if you don't know what a moose knot is, I will make one here. So what you do is you take a pin and a clip 1 inch apart on your board, and then you just clip this in. And it really doesn't matter whether you actually make the moose knot with the top strand or the bottom strand, only in that I've added enough extra cord in that you're not going to like lose anything at the end. So I'm going to come in here and make the moose knot. And I'm just going to make a regular like 3 rung. So see here, you've got the 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hold this out, and then feed the cord through. I mean, the setup is like, I don't know, it's really important. I mean, I think this is I think it's easy once you get the hang of it. So I'm going to tighten that, and then look, so one side will be shorter than the other. See that? So this is like, because see that? So this end here is going to be longer than this end, but we're going to do that again. So you need to do that twice on the ring. So I'm going to come in here. Let me clip this here. Let me find the 20 inches in, 20 right there. I'm going to feed it through the ring and tie another moose knot. Because this bracelet takes 7 strands, and 3 of the strands have beads on them. So you don't, since the reason they're shorter is because they're not doing anything except holding the bead. So you don't need like you don't need it to be like 40 or 50 inches long. It just has to be, and I figured 20 inches is more than enough. It's the rest of the cord that you'll be, doing your macrame with. So you come in here and put in I'm just using some random color. I don't even know what color this is. I'm just like illustrating like what you need to do here. So I'm going to fluff that out, pull, get all these nice and tight. Okay, then you push this up. All right, so you'll have something that looks like this. And then the shorter strands, just kind of like twist your knot so that the shorter strands are in the middle. Okay, so you could just, so then when you clip this here, see that? These are the short strands that are centered, and then your longer strands are off to the side. Okay, so the next step. Okay, let's look at our slide here. Does that make sense? Is everybody like with me, following along? Okay, so just like what I did, see, position the shorter sides to the center. Okay, good. So we did that. And then the next thing, that strand with the beads, that's that folded end. So here I have the you're gonna attach it using a half hitch. So this strand, you have your beads on, you take the leader needle off, And don't forget to, cut it at the knot so you can reuse it later, because I'd like to reuse my leader needles if I can get them off. My scissors are horrible. Okay, I'm going to put my leader needle aside, and here is that fold. It doesn't matter whether you go up or down, whatever your preference is. So I'm going to put this on using a half hitch. So there you go. See that? Let me zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I fed this under. It's kind of like a tongue. See that? It's like it. And then you pull this cord through with all the beads, come all the way through, and then don't tighten it yet, okay? Because see you have these 2 loops on the side here. You're going to take your 80-inch, because there was that 80-inch length of cord, and what you're going to do is feed it through. Whoops. Okay. You're going to feed it through the loop, so it's like this. So when you open it, see that? So you're going to feed this all the way through and then center it. Let me get this centered. And perfect. Then you just kind of pull these until they're both, see that? Oh, perfect. Centered, centered, centered. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, so see how we have 7 now? 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to count this as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 3 of them are going to have the beads. Okay, and the 3 that are going to have the beads are that one that we put the leader needle on, and then this is the 80-inch strand, so I'm going to like put that aside so we don't have to look at it. And then on these short strands, let's find the short, let's see, where are they? Okay, so on these short strands, the ones that we attach with the moose knot on, you're going to put your beads on there. And the number of beads, I keep, for some reason, making mine a little bit too big. Let me count, because I've made several different sizes. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. When you string the ones on the middle, go for like 18 or 19, just in case. And of course, it's going to depend on the size of the bead too. I mean, there are all these little factors, but the thing is, if you put more on, it's better than not having enough. So that's what I do. And then, as I'm making it, I keep trying it on until, I get a gap like that, because you don't want it to overlap, because we still have to put the button on, and you don't want it to be too big. So once it gets to about like that, I think maybe this one is one that I actually made that would fit me. So as you're macrame, and you just want to check the length when you get to the end to make sure you have like about a gap like that. But let's get back to this. So you put your half hitch on, and then we fed the 80-inch or like 203 centimeter cord. So I think that's the setup. But I'm going to switch out, because I already have the stuff that I'm actually going to use here. So let me switch these boards out and get this one here. And the way I set it up on the board, it's so I have my strands. I strung on all the beads. And this is the way, let me see if I can like zoom up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. There's a couple of other things you're going to need, like faux leather, but I'll get to that in a second, because me, I always have like other things that you need that I always forget to mention, but you'll figure these out on the show. So this is the setup. See, I've got my 3 strands with the beads like connected, like clipped on the end here at a diagonal, and then the 2 side cords, and then the other 2. So basically we're going to be macrameing with 4 strands. So the way you start, so let's get started here. So with the middle one, I'm going to do like a top and a bottom. So let me get these out of the way. So top and bottom in the middle strand. So there's a top, and you could do it nice and snug, top and then a bottom. Okay, now see how we have these 2 cords here? Now we're going to start macrameing here. We need to do like a little, like a segment of macrame. See right there, because if you don't do that, you're gonna, and you just like get into the macrame, you're gonna have this big gap. But the number that you do depends on the size of the bead that you're using. Because if it's like an 8 millimeter, you need to make it a little bit longer. If it's a 6 millimeter, and you could eyeball it as you go. So let's go. Let's do that. So I'm gonna do 6. So here's top, bottom, top and bottom. And then I'm going to do another top and bottom. Because the reason I think it's just important to eyeball it rather than have like a fixed number is because you know how some beads, I mean, they're rated, they say they're 7 millimeters, but they're actually like, okay, that's perfect. See that? See how this aligns when I put the bead in there? That's exactly what you want. So I'm going to come over here, put these 2 cords aside, and then I'm going to come to this. See these 2? It's the cord from this one and this one, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to like do, let's see, top, bottom. And I've tried, a variety of different ways for connecting these. And the biggest problem is that you need 7. And it's kind of tricky to get 7. I mean, even numbers are like easier, but what the trick to making this work was using a thinner cord for that center strand. Because, I mean, in the end, it ends up being the same, the same thickness. Because if this is about 1 millimeter and this is about 0.5 millimeter, if 0.5 equals 1. So let's get this in here. Let's see, get it nice and, let's see, I think I need to do one more here. I think I'm going to do one more on each side. So you just got to kind of like, let's see. All right. That's what I'm going to do. One more. You just got to kind of look at it, and because things might like change a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to stuff that up there. Ooh, perfect. But now the fun begins. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do a single macrame. But you can do a double. I think on this one, there are 2 macrames in between, but if you are going to do a double, this is when you start this part in the middle, that's when you start like instead of doing a top and a bottom, you go top, bottom, bead, bead. And then, but I'm just going to be doing a single. But you could, I've successfully done up to a triple, but so that's where if you want to do a double, that's where you'd start like right here in the middle. So that's a top and bottom, and tighten it. And then you slide, whoops, let's get this focused. Let me lock that in. So then you slide a bead up. So, and then you do a top and a bottom. So let's get this ball rolling. Top, bottom. And then you do the left side. And you can tell, which strings. I mean, if you're like, oh, do I grab these? No, because you just grab the ones here, and they're already kind of like placed, like the left and the right side. So, it's if you just like look at it, it kind of like tells you like where you need to go. So there's a top, bottom, and then middle. You gotta get that in there, and then you do a top and a bottom. And kind of like squish it down every once in a while. Top, bottom. My fingers are like, okay, top and bottom. I'm going to tighten that. You just kind of squeeze this up a little bit. Okay. All right, so then you take your next bead and you kind of squish it in there, and then you do a top and a bottom. So there's your top, bottom. And so once you start, I'll explain something in a minute. Let me just do this this other side. So it's going to be middle, left, right. So it doesn't matter which one you pick. So you're going to do a top and a bottom, and then a middle. So you just keep going until, so there's your middle, there's a top and a bottom. That noise you guys heard, I had to take a call. So that's like, it's kind of, there's like a little jump in the video. It was an important phone call. So there's a top and a bottom. So it doesn't matter, like once you do the middle, it doesn't matter whether you do the left or the right. So it's going to be middle, left, right. Middle, left, right. I'm going to like, it's looking good. Look at that. So there's a little, put that one, see? Perfect. And it's actually, I mean, at this point, there's nothing, no tips or tricks. It's just pretty repetitive. But I mean, all the next tips and tricks will come like towards the end once you get to the end. So I'm going to kind of speed things up a little bit so I can finish. Okay, so this is pretty fun. I like this. This is I mean, if I didn't like making this, I wouldn't have made so many of them. I think I must have made like, I don't know, let's take a look. We got this one, that one. Let's see what other ones we have here. Check these out. Here, I'll show them all to you. So this is close to the one that we're making today. And I did let's see, let me zoom out a bit. I made a hot pink one, and oh my goodness, check these out. And then I did a blue one. So here's some of the different, color combinations, and, just, it's fun to experiment. Just, try different colors. And this one, I think this one, did I do a double on that one? I don't remember, but here are just a few. And it's different from the, the double that I showed like a couple of weeks ago. In that this one, because I know that when I did the double, there was we had this issue where one strand like was shared, and on this one, it's not so much like that. So all your strands end up being, the same, at the end when you finish. And I've thought of, experimenting with the design, I'm thinking maybe one of these days I'll try it with a bail. I'll replace one of the beads with a round bail, so that way I could like add a charm, or maybe several bails, and then you could add like several like little dangles. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I think, I mean, just in case you came in late, the cord that I'm using is the wax jewelry cord in the .9. And I believe this color is gray or something like that. Or no, no, this is the silver. Because I was thinking, I don't have a gray. The silver kind of looks, it's like a silvery color. I don't know. It's just, oh, yeah, wouldn't that be, this look really cool with like sparkly, like silver, like, oh, that would look so pretty with like that sparkled silver or gold. Oh, I should make one of those because I know Laura Lee has, I've seen her use the gold a lot and it looks really, really pretty. Let's go top and bottom. And see that it's pretty fun. And I know that sometimes I get emails from customers that ask about posture when making things like this that are time consuming. They say maybe their back hurts, and I usually work standing up because for me, I just like it. I mean, once in a while I'll work like sitting on the floor, but rarely, unless I'm giving classes, I don't sit at a table. I don't know why. Huh. Probably it's because I don't have a table in my studio to sit at. I don't know, I just prefer to stand. So this is going good. Okay. And if you're wondering, like, do I need more cord if the beads are smaller? The measurements that I've provided, because I made one with 4 mm beads and I still had enough cord. Um, so these measurements, it's enough for like 4 mm beads, 6 mm, 8 mm, and up to like maybe like an 8 inch, because there's plenty of cord left over because the first couple of times I made them, I just kept, either I had way too much cord because I wasn't taking any chances or too little cord. And I mean, ideally it is better to have a lot more cord left over, but it seemed to me like to be such a waste of, string material. So this was my compromise, the measurements that I gave you at the beginning of the show. So let's see, middle. And when I get to the end, I'll show you like a little thing that I did because you know how sometimes when you're using like thin thread and you have them in the clips, they kind of like start to get the cord gets a little bit like loose. I have a thing that I did at the end of the cords that I'll show you in just a second. Looking good. All right. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I strung on way more beads than I thought I'd need because when it starts to get to the length that I think, I just kind of like gauge it. And when it gets to that length that I think it looks long enough, then I start to like take it off and try it on my wrist. And I've had like so many like really cool ideas like running through my head, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Let me just do this last one in the middle here because what do you think of this? Okay, let's say you have like two of these. Let's get like, because technically you could like do like this on this side, right? on the same ring, you could do a macrame on the other side and then put like a pendant in the middle. And I think, I mean, this is just like my thoughts. I'm thinking that this would make a really cool choker. Like if you had a, like this like that, and then you had the other macrame part with the, like a pendant. Wouldn't that be pretty? Ooh, I'm gonna do that. I have a friend that, I mean, I'm not a choker person, but a friend of mine really, really likes them, and I think I'm gonna surprise her and make her one in red. She wants because she loves she got the idea from one of those telenovelas. I think it's I don't know, help me, something Tierra de Amor or something like that. I, I don't know, but you know, she was telling me that all the jewelry on those soap operas are really, really cool. Um, guys, I wish I had the name of it, but I don't. It is not called Tierra de Amor. It's called something like it, but I know it's got the word tierra in it. But a choker. Ooh, wouldn't that be pretty with like pearls and then a shell? Ah, that would be so pretty. So this is a this you can this is pretty like versatile bracelet. And something, I mean, I haven't quite figured out how to do it. I mean, I tried it the other day, but I wasn't having any luck. But I was thinking, what if I wanted both like ends to like be let's see, let's get this focused. Uh-oh, hang on, this thing is not wanting to focus. Hang on. My camera is giving me grief. Okay, there we go. The what was I saying? I had an idea. Oh well, I forgot. I gotta stay like focused. Okay, so we're getting there. Oh, look at that, looking good. Oh yeah, starting in the middle, changing up the patterns. Because if you look at it, see how these five, it's like a floral pattern. I was thinking of, you know, changing, you know, arranging the beads in such a way where, you know, you could like see the flower pattern. Wouldn't that be cool? Or another thing that would look really cool if you see, so these go in rows like this, like have all blue, red, yellow, blue, red, yellow, just like or pink or black. I don't know, like just all sorts of variations. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. I'm eyeballing it, and to me, it still does not look like it's long enough. So I'm going to do a couple of more. Okay, so top, bottom. Whoops. And top, bottom. And this, one nice thing about um, this, if you have to step away, um, it's really easy to like figure out like where you need to be. Because I know a couple of the techniques that I teach, especially the hand woven one. I mean, you literally, when you get started with that, guys, put a do not disturb sign on your door because that one is really tricky to get back to. Like, because it's happened to me where for some reason, I had to step away. And then when I got back, it was just like, oh my God, I can't even like figure out like what to do. I mean, I could figure it out after like 10 minutes, but it's better if you don't have to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do this top, bottom, and then this side. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. Okay, top and bottom. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take it off and try it on. Okay. Now, it's still too short. I think maybe I'm gonna do one and then I'm gonna try it on again because it can get like really like too big really fast. Okay. Okay, so top, bottom. And the end part is let's see, top. Hang on, guys, let me get this. Did I do that right? No, I did not. Whoops. Okay, bottom, bottom. Okay. You know, and from my experience making these, if you need about an inch, add another row. Even though it doesn't make sense, or maybe 2 rows. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try it again now because when you start the finishing process, it needs to look like this. You need to have just like slid one bead up the middle before you start like finishing it. So I'm going to try this on. Let's see okay, that's perfect. Okay. Okay, let me get this back on there. Okay. So okay, this is really important. Okay, so when you get to the end, let me put my focus lock on. You put your bead here, and then you need to make a couple of macrames so that, like on these sides, you're gonna. Do you put a? Wait a minute. Hang on. Okay, yeah. Top, bottom. Okay, then to do a top and a bottom on this side. Bottom, is that bottom? Yeah, okay. So see that when I put that middle bead in there, I did not like macrame. I did like a couple of extras on this side. So you want to like line it up. Okay, I'm gonna do I'm gonna do an extra. I'm gonna do a top because you want them to be as close to like I guess that's a good gauge when you pull this and it lines up. Okay, that's perfect. This one, is that good? I'm going to do it one more. Since I added one extra to the other side, I want them to be balanced. Okay. So perfect. Now we're going to do a macrame on the middle knot. So there's a top, and then you want to pull it. There's a top and then a bottom. Okay, come in here and tighten it. Okay, now you bring these 2 cords and just clip them anywhere. So, and then with these 2 sides, the ones that are on the far left and far right, you're going to make a top and a bottom over all of them. So there's a top and a bottom. Do it nice and tight. Okay, so the next step, now that we've got that finished, see that? See, so now this end kind of sort of matches this end. So the next thing we're going to do, let me zoom out here. See, I've got all this extra cord and stuff. I mean, beads, we don't need it. But that tip I was going to share with you was on these cords right here, what I did so that they wouldn't like slip is I put a overhand knot and then I clipped it. And I used a knotting awl, so I made the knot, and then with the knotting awl, I kind of like moved it to where the knot was like right over the clip. I tied the knot, and then I put it inside the clip. So that way, see, on all of these here, see how they're all like knotted, so that way they don't slip. Anyway, so we're gonna put these off to the side. we're going to take these off. And then you could leave about like 10 inches or so. You don't need that much, but I always like leave like extra. Okay, and then the next thing on these cords here, let me move these. The side cords, what you're going to do is let me clip this. I guess I shouldn't have cut it yet, but that's all right. You're going to untwist these. So let's get these untwisted. Let's get this one out. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Because we need to do the finishing knot and I think I mentioned, did I mention at the beginning that this bracelet was like one of the, when I did shows in Tucson, this bracelet, people would bring, not ones that I made, but a bracelet like this that they bought from other people, and it would break. And so I took a look at them, and I knew what the problem was. And the thing is, it wasn't very well like integrated. So you want to like just have the whole thing towards like almost like one piece. So with these cords here, you're gonna come in and you're gonna pull them. Like you'll pull them like hard enough, and you'll see that the kinks come out. See that? And then you do the same thing to these other two. Just pull them so that the kinks come out. And the next thing we're going to do is put the button on. So here's our button. And I'm just going to go this way and then back through. I'm not going to do anything fancy because usually I do all this, stuff. But, for this one, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to push these ends. And this side goes in this way, and this goes in that way. All right. You just squeeze these. And since it still has a little bit of wax, you can like squish it and then put this through. Okay, perfect. Let's get, let me get one of my clips that I think, let me see if this button will fit in the clip. Because in case you haven't missed that tip that I shared a while back, if the button doesn't fit, one thing that you can do is just take like some pliers or something. Just grab anything, and see now it'll open up wider. So you just put this here, and we are going to clip the button. But let me get the button positioned like right. Okay. I'm going to bring it down. Yeah, yeah, I think, oh, you know what? Nix that. I did something wrong. Whoops. You need to also, oh, I'm glad I noticed that. One of the cords, those thin cords on the sides, because you only want two left. You want to bring the rest of, all of them through the button. I'm glad I noticed that. Ugh, that would have been terrible. Because the thing is, you don't want a bunch of glue spots. So you want as few as necessary. So let me feed this in, get it in. Let me squish it. Just squeeze it. Okay. This would be probably easier if you're using like a button with a shank. Oh my goodness, these guys just don't want to go into that hole. Sometimes if you cut it like at an angle, that helps. So let's try that. Okay. See that? Ooh. Ah, the angle trick. You guys knew that, right? Let me get this button in. And then see, you look at the button and then just pull like all the threads individually if you have to make sure that all those threads are nice and like straight in there. It's kind of like, and now we need to put like a little gap. Not too much, not too little. Let me clip this in now. And what I'm going to do, like, I'm going to put a clip in here just to like hold this. And if the clip is loose, maybe let me try a different clip because, okay, that's good. Oops, I gotta bend this. Open and all right, make sure all the cords. And I'm just going to clip this here just temporarily because I need to secure this other part so that it's not floppy. So what I do is I just take a scrap of cord, put it into the ring, and then clip it like on the end like that. See, to hold it. And we're going to grab those two threads, those two thin ones. Okay, I'm going to bring this under. I'm going to clip this here to hold it. All right. Ta-ta. Now I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to do a really, 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 really tight macrame. And see, when you're connecting like a button or anything, you need to, the thinner the thread, the tighter you can get it. So I'm just going to do this really tight, super tight macrame. So there's top, bottom, and I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to go back over it. Top, bottom, top. Okay, so I'm just going to, okay, super tight. I mean, that's what's going to like hold it. Because I think one of the bracelets that was brought to me at the show, that the holding knot was done with the thicker cord, and the thinner the cord, I tell you guys, the tighter the hold. And you don't want to use like cotton or silk for this part of the process because it's not strong enough. Because once you pull it like really tight, like I'm doing, it will break. So okay, so there. That's good. And you don't want it like all the way to the button because you want a little bit of movement in the button. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over because I do not yet know how to macrame upside down. And then I'm going to just macrame going all the way back. And you'll need to like melt the end, and I highly recommend not using a lighter because this cord is very thin. And a couple of days ago, I thought, oh, I've been using a lighter. I can do it, but you know what happened? I burned through the slide knot. It was very sad. And bottom. Okay, I think that's good. Whoops. You see that? Is this? Oh, is it not focusing? Okay, so you see what I did. It might have been a little bit out of focus, but I just went back and macrameed over the whole thing and tighten. Okay, now my thread zapper. Okay, I'm going to do this really carefully. And sometimes one thing that I found that helps is if I take like sometimes if you need contrast, or you could like hold it against something, like have like a white background where you could actually like see what you're doing. And I blow because this stuff, for some reason, it just seems like to always go in my face. So if you blow on it while you're doing it, okay. And then right in here, I mean, I know I talk a lot about melt spots and stuff, but I am going to come in close. I'm going to cut it and just melt it a little bit, just enough to hold it, like so that it doesn't like slip out by any chance. Not that it better not, because if we did it nice and tight, this thing should not slip. But this is like extra insurance. So you just come in here. You just gently like melt them a little bit, like that. Okay, so we're almost finished. So the next thing, let me clean up a little bit. This is a long project, longer than my usual. Faux leather. I take 12 inches, and here I'm using, I think this is either a 0.8 or a 1 millimeter. And I always, when I do the knot on the end of these, I always leave extra because why? Oh, because you need leverage, because we have to put the coil knot, the coil knot, and you know, when you, sometimes that extra thread is just for leverage that you need. So I'm going to come in here, put my pin and my clip an inch apart, make sure it's focused. And I'm going to take my faux leather, and then what I'm going to do is offset it by about 4.5 inches. And then with the longer strand, there we go. With the longer strand on top, see that? I'm going to make a moose knot, but I'm just gonna do a double. Usually I do triples, but for this I'm gonna do a double. And you guys know why I offset it, right? Because if you didn't, one side would be a lot longer than the other. I'm gonna come in here, put this, I'm gonna pull, and slide it down. So at least they're almost even on the end. If you didn't do that offset, they'd be like, it would be really off. So now we have our beautiful moose knot. And now I am going to put a coil knot. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to get about maybe like 5 or 6 inches. I'll get 7 just in case. I don't want to like mess up here. So now for the coil knot, you guys know the coil knot, right? So I just get a peg, hold it here, and then just twist around it. 3, I'm going to go 5, 4 or 5. You get 5 twists. See that? Put your finger underneath, and then I'm pushing up, but you don't have to worry about it coming off because it's clipped in. So I have a little bit of like upward pressure on the knot, which helps hold it. And there's a tunnel. I wish I had like a mirror in case you guys have never seen. That would be cool, right? Do I have a mirror here? No. So this side will go in this way, and the other side will go in the opposite way. I'm kind of twisted funny, so you have to bear with me. If you can't get it in, the needle to the rescue. Ta-ta. So you put the needle in, put the cord through the eye of the needle, and then pull through. Ta-ta. And now, since this is bigger than my normal, I kind of like squeeze and pull. Squeeze it and tighten. Kind of wiggle it just to get it nice and even. Has that ever happened to you guys where you make your coil knot and it kind of gets like kind of weird? So this one you want to like squeeze and pull. But don't take it off yet, because one really important thing is you need to know which ones to melt off. It's happened to me so many times. If Tess Bar's here today, she knows. You know, it's horrible when you cut the wrong one, because that means you have to start all over again. So these little knots that I put on the end, that lets me know that those are the 2 that I am going to melt. But what I do is I I move it all the way to the end because sometimes when you're making the melt balls, it melts like little spots on this part, and you don't want that. So if it happens, it'll happen back here. But the good thing is we'll be cutting it off. So just make sure and don't like pull it like so much that it falls off. So I don't feel comfortable there. Right there. So the one with the knot, I'm going to cut it. Probably, so many people have asked me like, how much? About 1/8 of an inch. So that's, I don't know. And sometimes I fluff it. Sometimes I don't fluff it. Should I fluff it? I don't know. But for this one, I'm going to use a lighter. I'm going to come back and forth. And on this one, don't tap it because you need those melt balls to keep the knot from like coming apart. And plus, if you flatten it, what happens is it causes like a sharp edge, and then after a while, it starts to like do like funny business on your cord, and it's going to get like frayed. That's the word, frayed. Okay, fluff it. You don't, some people say, does fluffing matter? It's just fun to do, I think. Okay, because honestly, I've tried fluffing, not fluffing, and there's no difference. Okay, so I'm gonna wait a second just for it to like cool off, because it's also happened that I thought it was cooled off and then it wasn't, and then I like regretted like touching it. So I'm just gonna wait a couple of seconds and then slide it down. Okay. So I'm going to make the stop knots, and I'm going to make this no bigger than the button needs to be, because there's no purpose to having it bigger, because it can, I know if you have your dangles too long, it's a little bit annoying. So just no longer than you need it to be. And right here on the end, I'm going to put an overhand knot, which I call lock knots. And I'm going to put another one here. And if you have trouble like getting it to where it needs to go, there are a couple of ways you could do this. You could just do it manually, or take a peg and just slide it all the way down like that, and like tighten it. So there we have it. We're almost finished. Oh my goodness. So I have these beautiful beads from like a couple of shows ago, and if you have them, they're perfect. Just put this on here and tighten. And you can use and this has to be, this one's important. This one really does have to be tighter, because you don't want any like gap. So if you just use your Knotting-All, let's see, is that focused? Yeah. You can get it nice and close. And remember that tip that I shared last week for tightening knots? I said to use one of these if your fingers can't do the job. So you can put this in there, and then inside the hole, see that? And then pull. Isn't that a good tip? Just get it nice and tight. Because after you tie all those knots, it kind of gets, your hands kind of take a beating. Okay, so this has got fluffed. So I'm going to cut it at an angle, because faux leather, it's good because it fluffs, and it's bad because it fluffs. But it just depends on when it fluffs. Okay, so we've got this one here, overhand knot. And I'm going to take the Knotting-All, nice and tight. And I'm going to tighten, and then I'm going to take this thing and then pull, just to get it super, super tight. Okay, we're almost finished. Oh. And when you do the ones on the end, these, you can like pat them down. But wait a couple of seconds, and then just quickly tap them. Guys, it takes practice. I know. Just wait a second. Ah, it's finished. Ooh, let's check it out. All right, let's take it for a test drive. Beautiful. Ah, look at that. I'm gonna grab these to tighten it and ta-ta. Look how cool that is. Oh my God. And you know, you can put like dangles here. In a couple of bracelets, what I did on this one, for example, I used a smaller ring. So a 6 millimeter ring, an 8 millimeter ring. I've tried textured rings, just all kinds of rings. But anyway, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Perfect. Anyway, that is today's lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed teaching it because this has been a long time in the making. So I'm glad to share it with you today. Anyway, that is the end of the show, and I will see you guys next week with a really cool lesson. Make sure and check out my Instagram for a sneak peek because it's got a secret, and I'm not going to tell the secret until the day of the show. So don't miss the show on February 6th because it's really, really cool. Anyway, guys, have a nice week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.